Hello, welcome back to Meerkat Chris. So I know it's more or less old news now, but I only got round to seeing The Last Jedi again yesterday. Only now have I really collected my feelings on the film, so I thought I'd share them with you guys. And instead of doing a typical review, I thought I'd do like the 5 things I liked and the 5 things I didn't like about Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi. Yeah. Let's get started. So first up, we've got my first like for the film, and that is how well this film shows that these new characters, Rey, Finn, Poe, Kylo Ren in particular, can stand on their own and hold the films without needing any assistance from the original trilogy cast or particular, because like this film in particular, we've got Kylo Ren and Rey, the whole thing between them, the conflict, the light versus good, and how the darkness rises but light rises to meet it at the same point and such, as in Kylo and Rey. It's the whole thing that Snow talks about for a while. He says it a bit better than I just did, but yeah. There's really nice, unexpected chemistry between Rey and Kylo Ren. Really well explored in this film, thanks to Rian Johnson's writing and directing. They, of course, start having the Force visions, what's it called? Force projections between each other, and they had little meetings and conversations, kind of in a way, to, just basically diss Luke Skywalker and all that. But at the same time, it really helped showcase them bonding and forming this kind of believable, weird relationship. Not a romantic relationship, I don't think that's where they're going with it. It's a weird thing, and they kind of relate to each other in a believable way, and it helps explore some new things in the Star Wars saga, such as Force projections, like I mentioned, but also just how Kylo Ren, as a wannabe Sith, still feels really human. Similar to Darth Vader in the original trilogy, but he's a very conflicted person, He feels the dark side in him, but he also feels the light side here and there. And you can see when in his conversations with Rey, he feels sorry for Rey in a way, whether it be to, manipulate Rey and use her to join his new Knights of Ren thing, whatever he's trying to do. But it's really, really fun to watch, and I think they are the best parts of this film. Anyway, I went on a bit long about that one. Number 2, which is the first dislike, how Kylo Ren and Rey almost bring about a new change of pace to the Star Wars saga, with Kylo's idea of starting new, getting Rey to join him, and just forget about the Resistance, forget about the First Order, forget about the Jedi, the Sith, and just the war in general, and just start anew and join me, as he says. And I thought, yeah, this is really cool. We're going in a really new, fresh direction with the series, and Rian Johnson's taking a risk. He's just getting rid of all the typical iconography of the Jedi and such, and we're going to be seeing something new. But then the film ignores all that stuff and quickly returns back to normal, basically just implying that no, we'll leave that for the next film. Instead, we're just going to show you that there's even more potential of Jedi and such with Rey and the broom boy, because if you didn't notice, he uses the Force to grab the broom. I don't get it. I don't get what happened. The second like was, okay, there was something wrong here. The lighting has gone. The second thing that I really liked was that Luke was portrayed as a real human being, with a troublesome past that he not only wishes to forget, but completely ignore. He started off with the ambition to start the Jedi again on the island of Actu, was it? Actu? It was all going well up until Kylo Ren, something happened with him, and oh my god, Knights of Ren, and the building's burning, and oh, well, I might as well give up now. Yeah, he gets scared. He really gets scared. Luke Skywalker becomes terrified of Kylo Ren and what Kylo Ren has become, and he feels responsible for it. He can't forgive himself, so he locks himself away on the island to die. There's real motivation behind that, and you really get this sense of him giving up. In a human way, he has human feelings. Oh, you kind of feel sorry for him in a way. But then, of course, he does have his redemption by the end when he does live up to that legendary name and comes back and helps the Resistance escape whilst facing Kylo Ren dead in the eyes before his final little sacrifice. Oh, that was wonderful. I really liked that stuff. That was great. Anyway, dislike. The huge plot deviation with Finn and Rose going to the town of Cantobite, was it? Resulting in them discovering the hacker DJ, who only ends up betraying them in the end, resulting in many more deaths of the Resistance. And on top of this, it's all because of Laura Dern's character, the purple hair lady, and her pointless decision not to tell anyone her plan. Which, you know, was even worse when you realised that if she'd have just told Poe her plan in the beginning, Finn and Rose would never have gone to Canto Bight in search of a master hacker or whatever it was. They wouldn't have found DJ to come back and betray them, telling the First Order that the fleet is escaping, the Resistance fleet is escaping, and all those innocent Resistance members would not have just randomly got blown up and died because they would have just successfully escaped without DJ being involved. But I do kind of like this in a way, because, you know, the film is about failure. That is its main theme. It's even stated by Rian Johnson, that's its main theme, failure. Everything that the good guys, and even bad guys to an extent, try to do ends up failing and going horribly wrong. And this whole Laura Dern situation kind of feeds into that, because she makes decisions that she feels is the right thing to do, but it goes horribly wrong. And it's a big mess up. It is a humongous mess up, but people make big mistakes all the time, even to that extent. So if the film's about failure, and it definitely is, maybe it works, I don't know. The next thing I really disliked about this film, and this is probably one of my biggest criticisms, is how pathetic, weak, and foolish they made Hux look. General Hux. I'm looking for hugs, not hooks. You know, that whole thing right at the beginning of the film. I mean, how are we supposed to fear the First Order at all if right from the very beginning they're just constantly made fun of? When I was thinking about it, it kind of reminds me of the whole Kim Jong-un situation, and, you know, with North Korea, him being the supreme leader of North Korea as well. You know, he's always threatening all the countries with his threat of nuclear war and all that, and blowing everyone up. But nobody takes him seriously, because he's just constantly made fun of. He's made out to be a fool, just like General Hux when he's being slapped on the ground by, you know, Snoke for messing up or whatever it was. And, you know, Poe making fun of him as well right from the beginning. It's like some of the first few opening lines of dialogue being like, oh no, I'm waiting for hugs. He's like, this is General Hux. And he's like, no, I'm waiting for hugs. And he's like, you mama. And you're just like, oh. Like, I get that that is Poe's character. You know, I get that that is part of his personality, but they should have done something a bit better with it, because the First Order should be threatening. At least do this halfway through the film or something, not just straight away so that the First Order is just like laughable in comparison. You know, there's no threat through the film because of it. Another thing I liked was the action set pieces. Of course, there was a fantastic one in Snoke's throne room, and Kylo and Rey are all like, ooh, to all the Praetorian guards, something like that. It's a really genuinely cool, well choreographed fight scene. But the one that stuck out to me the most was the opening, with the whole bombing squad coming in to take down that the new Star Destroyer thing. I can't remember what it's called. That was brilliant. It really put you in the shoes of the bombing squad with Rose's sister, and really gave an emotional depth to her, and it got you to care about her because it put you in there with her whilst her crew member's dead and all the other bombing squads have all been blown to smithereens, and then there's just this one left, which is Rose's sister's bombing squad thing. And it's usually something the films in general gloss over. Like, there'll be things going on and people will explode in X-Wings or Y-Wings or something. And it may get you to care in the moment, like, oh, that looks bad, I feel sorry for that guy. But you kind of forget about it after a second. This one, Rian Johnson, the director and writer of the film, focused a good portion of this opening on this one character and the major losses and sacrifices in general. And it does make sense. It's not just pointless, because it helps to get us as an audience to think about Poe's actions and the consequences to his actions, which becomes a little bit of a theme throughout the film, about trusting Poe's, you know, just instincts and wanting to blow everything up. And that's a good thing. That's how you make a character. They have issues and they have positives, and Poe's one of those good characters, and he's really well written. And the fourth dislike is Daisy Ridley's acting as Rey for the first half or so of the film. This was a similar issue in The Force Awakens. Going back and watching that, there are a few scenes and a few lines of dialogue that she delivers a bit flat, but she's a bit more energized in that film. Here, like when she gets to the island and starts following Luke around, especially in the montage and such, she's just really flat and expressionless. I mean, there's literal scenes where she tries to convince Luke to come and help the Resistance. And then she stands there and talks to him about all the First Order issues and the Kylo Ren problem. And the writing makes it sound like she's meant to be like really like upset about it or something. When in reality, in the actual scene of the film, she's just like, oh yeah, there's the First Order and Kylo Ren is going to wipe out everyone because he is dangerous and conflicted. Yeah, so basically we need your help, Luke, so why don't you just come and help? Yeah. Oh, my favourite piece of dialogue from her. Master Skywalker, Master Skywalker, Master Skywalker. She does that for some reason throughout the first half of the film over and over again without much emphasis on the acting. I don't know, she kind of picks up towards the middle part and she's very good at the facial expression stuff. You really buy into her character. She looks upset, she looks angry, she looks conflicted or whatever it is. She's good at all that. It's just some of her dialogue delivery is just, it's off. I don't know, maybe that's just me. And the last thing I liked was how the structure played with our expectations. You know, as fans of The Force Awakens or Star Wars in general, we all built up our own expectations and ideas and theories of what characters were and how things would play out over the past 2 years since The Force Awakens came out. Well, the film, finally coming out, goes completely against pretty much all of those expectations, apart from maybe a couple here and there, a couple small ones. And you know, for the most part, it works. Such as killing off Supreme Leader Snoke just really abruptly out of the middle of nowhere during Kylo Ren and Rey's confrontation with Snoke. It really elevated Kylo's strength as a conflicted character and now puts him in a situation where he is in control of himself pretty much. I also loved how Luke was unwilling to train Rey and was unwilling to go back and help the Resistance. I really liked the reveal of Rey's parentage being the fact that there were nobodies. They were just people who didn't really care for her and sold her off for drinking money and then just died. Nothing special. Rey's just a nobody. You know, like most of us. Just another instance of the film feeling really relatable and Rey herself becoming relatable more so than ever towards us. But I do feel like the film goes a little too far in saying, oh right, so you've got your own little theories and such about what this film's going to do with characters and such. Well, we're just not going to do any of them. I don't know. Maybe it's taking chances and maybe it's a good thing. I think things like the ones I mentioned work extremely well and play out way better than, for example, Rey being a Kenobi or something stupid like that. You know, it really helps make the universe feel bigger and much more less like, you know, like everyone knows each other for some reason. You know. And my final point, which is my fifth and final dislike point, is how Finn's big moment gets completely taken away from him in the last few minutes. And for no real understandable reason by Rose. I mean, by this point, his character arc is completely complete. He's gone from the First Order to fighting with the Resistance, and now to giving the ultimate sacrifice to save those friends he built in the Resistance and goes against the First Order in the most particular way he could possibly do. And then it's all just taken away from him because of Rose and something to do with love or something like that. Like I said, his arc was complete. It would have made for such a memorable moment and would have added so much more depth and heroism to Finn as a character. But nope. Now he's just around for the next film, for whatever reason. Poor Finn. I feel like they've missed the perfect opportunity there. Yeah, so that's it. They were the 5 things I liked and disliked about Star Wars The Last Jedi. Now I'm going to give my overall rating for the film. What would I say that would be? I'm not quite sure. Because I have an original rating from about a month and a half ago when the film came out of a 6.9 out of 10. Which may seem a bit low, but my new rating from seeing the film yesterday is a 7.9 out of 10. So there is a bit of a leeway in the middle of to where maybe the real rating of mine is. Maybe it's between a 7 and a 8, somewhere between there. Anyway, that's the end of the video. I hope you guys at least kind of enjoyed the video. Why not leave a like and subscribe? Because why not? I've got some other Star Wars stuff on the channel. Literally the other day, I did a video on things I like about the Star Wars Special Edition changes. So, sounds a bit controversial, but I think it's a fun video, so... Alright. See you in the next one. Bye.